This conference will now be recorded.
And I'm going to drop off. Have a good meeting, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Well, welcome to everyone, and we are so proud to have our go-to-meeting call. Thank you to Ann Can and Rick Davis and the group. And we are excited because this is just 1 month prior to our conference. And we are so excited to have Lori Campbell from MBC Alliance talk about today about their MBC Connect and overview how it all works. It's amazing. And so, Lori, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for this opportunity, and happy to talk to you today and kind of walk you through MBC Connect, which is a new patient registry specific for metastatic breast cancer patients, both men and women here in the U.S., and we launched last fall. So if you want to go ahead and advance the screen.
Is that better? Okay.
So I understand I have about a half hour, and so I thought it would be helpful to give you a little bit of a background and history on the initiative, talk about what are launch activities associated with the first version that was released last fall, share with you some current registry statistics, and then talk to you about a new functionality that's coming online in late April, early May that will facilitate anyone who's using the app to automatically receive clinical trial matches, potential matches that would be relevant for them based on the data that they've input into the registry. So we're very excited, and I will walk you through everything. Feel free to ask me questions as we go along. Okay, so I'm going to start with the next slide. Talks a little bit about the background and history. Keep going one more.
Okay.
So this project really developed out of a think tank meeting that the Alliance hosted back in 2016 with multiple stakeholders across academia, government, industry, and patient advocacy and patients to discuss gaps and opportunities in clinical and translational research in MBC. And out of that was expressed a need to create this type of patient registry. So there kind of were three initial thoughts about it. One is creating a database of real-world patient-entered data. Secondly, to create a portal of study of de-identified data for the research community. And lastly, to create a link between clinical trial and clinical research studies that would be of interest to registry users. So the overall goal of this registry is to advance research into MBC by creating this platform that serves as a link between patients and clinical researchers. So you can see at the top right, there's kind of the screens, so you can get a sense of what it looks like. In terms of the highlights of it, so it's a real-time registry and interactive, it's web-based and mobile-friendly. So what that means to you is you put your data in there, and as things change in terms of quality of life, you update the app in real time, and that information is then accessible to the research community in a way that protects your privacy, but shares with them kind of the data about what's happening with you in your treatment life and experience with metastatic breast cancer. The information is shared in a de-identified way. It's encrypted, it's HIPAA compliant, so it keeps your data private and safe. Both MBC patients and their caregivers can enter and update their own data. So if I'm a metastatic patient and my brother is my caregiver, if I say I'd like for Steve to be able to enter data on my behalf or see it, I can set, I want him to see it only or see it and edit. So we want to, make sure that patients have support and people around them can participate in this process. The database that's made available to researchers has all the data in it, it's something that you can see as well. So it's not limited. It's open access, meaning anybody can access it. Again, they can't see your name or your address or anything specific to you. They can just see the general information that you put in, but it's available to patients too. And I had a patient ask me a couple weeks ago, they said, does that mean if I'm triple negative, I can go in and see all the patients in the database who has triple negative and see all of the lines of treatment that they've had and what drugs they've taken? And I said, absolutely. So I think there's lots of different uses for the database that we probably haven't even thought of, but a lot of patients want to know kind of what's next for them. So that affords them the opportunity to have access to the database as well. So it's not just for researchers. As part of this, patients can receive insights, and I'm going to show you some examples of those, but think of it as like a two-way communication tool where we can push out news. Let's say there's a new drug that was approved by the FDA for MBC, or you guys are hosting your conference next month. We can push that out so that anybody in the database that meets the criteria of the event would have it be pushed to them on the phone, or could be a webinar. So it affords us the ability, so the value, sometimes patients will say, well, why should I do this? What do I get out of it? Outside of, helping further research and potentially, the next generation. But I say, well, you get something back kind of as news and information happens about the metastatic space. And you can also be linked to clinical trials, and I'm going to cover that kind of at the end of the presentation. Right now, the MBC Connect, which is the name of the patient registry, is currently available in English and Spanish in the US. So that's kind of at a high level. I'm going to walk through, if you go to the next slide, talk a little bit of how it works. I'm not sure what your familiarity is with patient registries, but there's a sign-up process. You download the app from the App Store. So it doesn't matter if you're iOS or you're Android, it's in both stores. You can go to the app now and put in MBC Connect, and you'll see the app there. You download it. There's a registration process. You have to put in some information about who you are and your email. And then you go through a consent process. This is a legitimate research tool that we had to go through IRB, Institutional Review Board, and get approval to launch this, since the data from it is going to be used for research purposes. And then you log on. And when you log in, there are 5 surveys that ask a series of questions. So there's a total of 55 questions across the 5. And for demographics, we would ask, general information about gender, race, and geographic information. For disease history, we would ask about, some examples would be the date and stage at initial diagnosis, your ER, PR, HER2 status, what what sites of the current metastasis sites are. For quality of life, we'd ask information about your current level of physical activity. Are you taking any supplements, on a special diet? Additional therapies like yoga or meditation. Genetics and tumor mutations, talk about, have you been tested for inherited genetic mutations like BRCA1 and BRCA2? And then, have you participated in a clinical trial? If so, which ones? What were they called? So the surveys is a big aspect of, you answer a series of questions, and it's kind of holistic. So it's not just about, the disease and the treatments, but it's kind of who you are as a person and what some of your life experiences are. The third item here is the real-time treatment profile. So this is where you would put in information both about early stage and metastatic treatments around medications, radiation, surgery, and the insights. I talked about that a little bit previously. The last kind of area of functionality is managing the profile. So this would be, if you wanted to change your caregiver or your password or something like that. So those are kind of like the 5 primary areas of the app and how it functions. If you want to advance to the next slide. So these are some screenshots So I'm going to go from left to right. So you can see that in this particular case, it's from my iPhone. I took these screenshots from earlier today. And the one on the left is called Your Surveys. And if you look at the bottom of that left screen, you can see 4 tabs. You can see the one on the left that's in blue says treatments. The one next to it, I'm sorry, the one on the left says surveys. The one next to it says treatments. Next to that is insights, and next to that is profile. And I'm going to walk through, that's what each of these 4 screens are. They represent the tabs from the bottom. The screen on the left basically shows you the surveys. So you can see they're color coded to let you know that these are the 5 surveys. The 2 in blue, disease history and quality of life, are new surveys that I haven't yet completed. The genetic survey, which is in that mustard color, is in progress, which means that I started the survey, but I haven't answered all the questions. And then the last 2 at the bottom are completed, and they're in gray, and they're the demographic survey and the clinical trials. So the user interface is pretty easy and intuitive, hopefully, for people that are used to smartphone devices. If you're not, we do have a web version of this. So if I clicked on disease history, it would take me to all the questions in that particular survey. If I clicked on quality of life, it would take me to all the questions in that particular survey. And the questions are, true, false. Sometimes they're multiple choice. And I think you can go through the screen pretty quickly. We've had really good feedback. We had probably 25 patients and some researchers and clinicians involved in the creation of this. So it was really developed kind of by patients for patients. So hopefully you'll find the language that's used and is appropriate and intuitive. The second screen, second to the left, is the treatment screen. And so let's say, I started iBrand. I would click on medications, which is the upper left button, and then I would put in, I started it on this date, and or if I start, if I had a surgery last week, I would put in the surgery date and what type of surgery it is, and then it would kind of go into a real-time inventory of all of the treatments that I've had. So this is the treatment profile screen, and you just click on the button, and then there's a big plus there that says, you add whatever the treatment is that you're wanting to add. The next screen, second to the right, is the insights, and you could see, hopefully at the top, this is news about the upcoming Living Beyond Breast Cancer conference next week in Philadelphia. And then below that, at the bottom of the screen, is something about from breastcancer.org. It's called Metastatic Trial Talk. So we push out probably once a week some type of update and news that would be of interest and would be relevant to the metastatic breast cancer community. And then the screen on the right is the profile screen that I talked about, where you would change information about your caregiver or zip code or email address if you change. So these 4 screens are the primary screens that are part of the MBC Connect app today in its current version 1. I think I'm going to stop there and ask if there's any questions or concerns.
Okay, and I went ahead and tried to sign up thinking, oh, I can do this. But no, it needs to be a metastatic patient to sign up, and then they invite in their caregiver. So it does, this is dedicated to our metastatic community. That's what we want to make perfectly clear here, which is an amazing tool, just from what I'm seeing.
Right. Yeah, we're really excited. We've got over 400 users so far, but we're going to, actively promote it to all of the upcoming patient conferences, and, hopefully people will be sharing it on social media.
Yeah, so
well.
we would definitely want you at our conference. Somebody could talk about it, because that's how we continue to get the messages out to everybody that this exists, because we don't ever want to let any progression of this disease feel like they're not part of this family. MBCC family, we welcome everyone, all the men and their families. So.
Correct. And who would it be for research?
And Lori, this looks like it would be a great tool too for anybody, you know, going to their doctor. They can have all their medications listed in here, their treatments listed in here. And while it's helpful to anybody doing research, it's definitely something that's helpful and handy to the patients themselves.
Yeah, especially the metastatic community. And it gives them everything at their fingertips and getting it set up. That's amazing. You know, once you guys
it would benefit our 9/11 too, our 9/11 community.
Yeah, our 9/11 community, all the men that are finally coming forward that have gotten breast cancer because of 9/11. It's a whole new area, which is so sad that we're working with them. But, and again, you know, with this, what we talked about earlier before everybody got online is we're recording this and we will be sharing it out on our social media. But also, this is amazing. This is an amazing tool. I mean, it's just huge.
Thank you. Yeah, you mentioned it's kind of a real-time inventory for the patient to kind of keep track of everything. And on the screen on the right, you can see it says send my data. So you can take a snapshot of everything that's in there. Somebody said, hey, could I send what's in there to my doctor for a second opinion? And the answer is yes. So you just click send my data. You'll get a PDF of everything that you've entered. Or you could print that out or send it to your doctor if you're going to be going for a visit and say, hey, I just want to walk through this and make sure that I've captured everything correct.
That's fantastic. That truly is. Oh, that is so good.
Okay. Any other questions on this version 1.0? No? Okay. We'll keep moving along then. So we developed, if you'll advance the screen there.
Okay. Gotcha.
A lot of materials to support the launch. You can keep going one more screen.
Okay.
So we had the kickoff last year. There is a whole social media toolkit that we developed in an implementation guide. And the social media toolkit has, you know, Facebook posts that you can send that are already done and pre-formatted. It has Twitter tweets that have already been done. And these are available to the Male Breast Cancer Coalition if you want to leverage those across your social media.
Yeah, I actually took them with me from the conference, the cards and everything. So I was going to share them. I just haven't had time to share anything out.
Yeah, no problem. Let us know if you need any help. Dana's a whiz at all the social media stuff. So we developed a number of materials. We did a Facebook Live with Mark Herbert, who was the chair of the Alliance at the time, Shirley Mertz, who represents the patient community. She's now the current chair, and Neil Iyengar, who's a co-PI, principal investigator with Mark for this project. And you can see across the bottom, the document on the left is a postcard that we hand out at conferences that talks about it, the MBC Connect just launching. And the middle picture is the back of the postcard. And then on the right is a fact sheet for patients about why should they join MBC Connect? What are the benefits to them as a patient and participating in this research initiative? Everybody can do it. It's free. There's no charge. You know, you can do it on any device at any time, or you can use the web if you're less comfortable with a smart device.
Excellent.
You can advance to the next slide, please.
Okay. And is any of that material available, Lori, in case we wanted to put it in the swag bags that we're going to be giving all the guys at the conference?
Yeah, if you want to let Dana know how many copies of which material we can get those shipped down to you.
Perfect.
So this is a listing of all the materials that we have. Anything highlighted in yellow is available in Spanish as well. So we have a press release, media fact sheet, media Q&A, media pitch notes, a patient fact sheet. There's FAQs. If you go out to mbcconnect.org, there's a whole series of FAQs that hopefully will answer questions that people might have. website copy, patient postcard. We have a newsletter, email blast. We have a list of social medias, app store copy. There's also a healthcare professional fact sheet and researcher FAQs on the website as well. The image here on the lower right, those 12 pictures are the social media tiles that we used for the campaign last fall. Again, this is all made available to you at no charge. You just need to let us know what you want to do. Okay, you want to keep
Sure.
So one more slide. In terms of the current registry, we've got over 400 metastatic breast cancer patients in the U.S. that have registered and 5 caregivers. You can see a chart of the U.S. So we've got 44 states and Washington, D.C. The mustard color represents states that have more than 10 registry participants, and the gray represents those that are smaller. Of the 5 surveys, we've got fabulous engagement at 70%, which compared to other registries, I'm told is a really high number. So there's a high level of engagement, and there's kind of no drop off. They're all across the 70%, which tells me that the questions aren't too onerous and people can do them pretty easily and pretty quickly. Of the patients that are part of MBC Connect, just about half have put in treatment profiles. And if I look across that 50% of the user population, there's an average of 6 treatments per patient. One of the things about this platform, because it's kind of sponsored by the Alliance, we're kind of Switzerland, other organizations and researchers can say, hey, we have these other questions we want to ask, and we have the platform is flexible enough that we can, if those are approved by our oversight, get those additional questions. So the Lobular Breast Cancer Alliance is one of the newest members of the Alliance. They said there's a series of questions that we want to ask that we'll be pushing out later this year. I'm going to talk about clinical trial matching. We're going to enhance the researcher portal, and we're also planning to go abroad. There are 5 European countries that have expressed interest. Probably Spain is closest to being ready and having kind of in-depth conversations with us about how a collaboration would work with them.
You know, Lori, I think Australia and the UK are definitely some of the larger
areas
that
we've got we have a lot of our men there in those 2 areas.
Good to know. UK is one of the ones on the list, and I've met with them at SABCS, and we've continued some conversation there. So, but thank you. I'll put those on the list.
Cool.
Okay, next slide. So I'm going to talk about, I'm going to give you an overview. If you advance one more slide, you'll see kind of a visual image of what happens. So the person on the upper left basically puts the data into MBC Connect. So I answer my questions associated with my demographic survey and my disease history survey, and I put in treatments if I want. And once you do that, there's kind of a minimum level of data set that's needed. Then a matching takes place kind of behind the scenes. We're doing a collaboration project with breastcancertrials.org and their technology company, Quantum Leap. They are the organization that curate the clinicaltrials.gov database, and some of you may be familiar with Metastatic Trial Search, which is a clinical trial search engine today that can be used. So we're kind of bringing the great work that they've done and marrying it up with MBC Connect so that we can push out clinical trials that might be of interest and relevant for the metastatic breast cancer patients. So it kind of takes the burden off the patient of having to, look through hundreds and hundreds of trials and read through very, complex technical language and present it in a way that's meaningful and with a nice user interface that's relevant and helpful for patients. So you put all the data in, the back engine talk to each other, and then they send back to the patient the trials on MBC Connect that they would be relevant or potentially able to do based on the exception criteria and information they put in.
How amazing. This is just
This could be a
fantastic.
game changer. Quite honestly, I don't know if anybody else is doing this.
They're not.
Across
This is amazing, Lori. I mean, you guys are, because I remember at SABCS 2 years ago when you guys started talking about this, and
Yeah.
now where it's at, oh, this is amazing what it's going to do for our men. I mean,
Well,
just,
it's going to be greatly helpful for the men too, because
oh,
again, they see trials come up all the time, or they're searching for trials, and in a lot of cases, they're not accepted into these trials. So
Yeah.
it'll take the onus off of them and send them the things that are applicable to them. So it's great.
Right.
it's just amazing.
If there's a
Nice.
trial that isn't open to men, they wouldn't see it in their list. Of
Right.
potential-
Right.
Right.
That's
Okay.
amazing.
If you want to go to the next slide, I will. So this is the minimum data set that I talked about. So current sites of metastasis, hormone positive, ER, PR, HER2, triple negative, male or female, your birth year and their zip code. So those are just the data points that are kind of captured. Obviously, the more data you put in, the
Better.
higher quality matches you will get back. Next slide, please. So this is a look at the screenshots for 2.0. Again, we're in kind of pre-beta testing, but I took these this morning. So I'm going to go from left to right. The screen on the left is kind of the primary screen for clinical trials, and there are 3 tiles there: matches. So that's your inventory list of trials that you might be eligible for. You can save trials. It's kind of like your favorite. That's the upper right tile. And then the lower left, you can dismiss a tile if you say, nope, this one's in Florida and I live in Boston, so I'm not even going to consider it. So if you click on matches, it'll take you to the second screen, which is the second screen from the left that's called your matches. And you'll see, again, we use the same colors that we did on the survey. So yellow means you've looked at it. Blue, it's something that's new that you haven't reviewed yet. And, in this case, there's 3, 4, 5, there's 6 that are shown on the screen there, 3 in the mustard color and 3 in blue. So this particular trial, the second to the bottom is, and I'm not going to pronounce this right, naratinib regimen for inflammatory breast cancer patients. So if you click on that, you will see the third screen, which is the second from the right. And it gives you about 12 different data points. So these are all things that the original source of this data is clinicaltrials.gov. It's the purpose of the trial, who's this for, what's the location, and it'll show you if a trial is open at multiple sites. It will show you all of the sites in order based on which ones are closest to you. And then you can click on that site and you can get information about who the PI is, what number do you call. You can get the NCT ID, you can see what's involved. So it really is giving you a nice summary snapshot of all the data that would be relevant and helpful for you if you were going to consider this.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. So in a nutshell, those are kind of the primary screens for the clinical trial match feature that, as I mentioned, we're hoping to go live at the end of next month, early May. There are 2 more kind of cool features of this. If you want to advance the slide, the next talks a little bit about sharing. So you can say, hey, there's 10 trials here. I want to share these 3 with my care team. I want to share these 2 with my family. Again, you can share them via email or you can share them via text. And so it allows you to kind of communicate out to the community of people that support you about trials that potentially would be of interest. And then the last screen, Peggy, is about some filtering. So if you advance one more, you can filter it by, types of therapy, whether it's chemotherapy or hormonotherapy. so that you can again have the ability to skinny down your list in a way that's meaningful for you. The last two pieces of this, we haven't completed the software development, so I can't really show it to you. So we're really excited about this. Again, it has a potential to be a game changer. We are we're looking for 25 beta testers that have already registered with MBC Connect, or if there's anybody on the phone now that wants to register, I would love to get some men to be part of the beta test. I've talked to Michael Kaverick to see if it would be something that he is interested in to do. But we'd love to get some people because, this is a tool for everybody. So we want your voice to be heard as we're doing development of it.
Absolutely. Why don't we put together, you guys send me a paragraph or something email-wise, and I'll send it out to all of our metastatic guys.
Okay.
And let's just see who will respond.
Yeah.
That
Great.
would be huge. That would be huge for
You want to advance one more? I think we're
Okay.
at the end. Yes, we are. So
Okay.
I know I talked a lot. I talked really fast. I'm a New Yorker by trade for 20 years. So
That's all right. You did
will.
great. I now understand the app so much better and what it's all about. And like I said, I've been hearing about it for the 2 years attending the conferences, but wow, what it is now is freaking amazing. It will, because I gotta say, and Sherry knows, every day we talk to our survivors, our thrivers, our men with male breast cancer, who most of them are deer in the headlights. I know it was that way for us when Brett got diagnosed as parents. We had no idea what to do. And look how far we've all come in the 9 years since his diagnosis in 2010.
Right.
Is amazing, because at least now people know when you say male breast cancer, they don't laugh out loud. They don't say men can get it, but we do have that still. But this is amazing to get companies and groups and foundations to be able to look at this disease, because it doesn't discriminate. It's men, women, it's anything with breast is all I can say. So this is amazing, Lori. I can't thank you enough on this. This is fantastic.
Well, we are very excited about it. It's been a long time coming, and hopefully, people sign up and participate, and the research data then is available to the community so that they can look at trends and get treatment ideas and do additional studies. So
well, and letting the medical community aware of this is just half of the battle. Because it starts there, and that's been half of our battle with all of our men, because even when they go to their primary care doctors in a physical, men still, they don't get their breasts don't get checked because doctors don't do it still, and they need to, and that's what we tell the men, ask for it. And this is fantastic. It really, truly is. So are there others there that have questions, or I'm not sure how many are still on?
I have a quick question.
Go for it. And who is this?
Ron.
Ron, perfect.
I thought it was 400 people that were signed up in the app. Is that correct, Lori?
yes.
Out of those 400, are there any men signed up?
Yes, and actually, if you go to mbcconnect.org and you look at the data, you could see the population of men that have signed up. You could see, what subtypes they are. So we could go online right now and see. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I can. We could check it out.
Already.
All right, you're done with the screen. I'm going to pull down so I can see everybody. There we go. Now I see everybody. A few more. Bob DeVito finally got done, and he's going to try to get on the call too. But I think what is so important on this is for us to get this out to our metastatic community. I mean, Sherry, this is amazing.
I mean, I know it's not going to be something that's for everybody, and we pray to God that not everybody needs this, but we do know with no cure for breast cancer, unfortunately, at this time, some people may be facing this down the road. One never knows. And the fact that we are able to, while we're not giving them a cure, we're definitely putting the ability to help more research and better things be out there for them.
And the knowledge. The
the-
knowledge is what we try to supply to everyone. Knowledge
Yep.
is power here, guys. And again, like I say, I love our men dearly, but they don't usually share. And when we finally get you guys talking, it's amazing for the knowledge that comes out of these discussions. And it
Well,
just
and
helps
this
everything
way they
continue
don't
to
have to
grow.
really, this way they really don't have to talk. I mean, they can sit behind the privacy of their own computer or their phone and put the information in.
And it's exactly it. And okay, so Lori, here's a question. Understand this is all for the metastatic community, but a lot of the stuff that you guys have in this app could be for any type of breast cancer patient from any stage, be able to put their medications in and stuff, because talking to these men every day, half of them don't even have a clue what the name of that medication is or what the side effects are or whatever, but to be able to put it in an app like this, to be able to share with other doctors, oh my God, it can make most of their lives so easy.
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys would ever consider to put?
Well, I
besides
think
this for
because
this
the
metastatic?
alliance, the mission of the alliance is just for the metastatic breast cancer
Right.
community. Probably not, but honestly, we've done the work. So
Right.
if somebody else, one of the other organizations that deals with early breast cancer patients wanted to take it, we would give them everything that we've done already and let them.
Oh, that could be amazing. And as we talk to all these professionals and medical people, this might be an option. Again, this is the networking. This is the knowledge.
Yeah.
And like Rick was saying himself on ANCAN, I mean, could you imagine, Rick, where this could help even other cancers in an
I
app?
mean, it's a very powerful app. I'm very impressed with what you've done here, Laurie. And yes, it could be amazing for other cancers. I mean, to me, probably it should be a proprietary tool of the Breast Cancer Alliance, the Metastatic Breast Cancer Alliance, but I'm sure that there are ways you can find to work with others. And the fact that you're so collaborative, it's just amazing to me, because we don't find that in the nonprofit world, especially in the health world. So God bless you. It's really.
I agree.
I have a question for you, Laurie. Are you working at all with the Metastatic Breast Cancer Project?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be out in California on Saturday at the Komen Orange County conference, and I'm at a table talking about registries, and we're promoting MBC Connect and MBC Project.
Okay.
So there are some. So each of the two registries has a little bit different focus. I didn't go through the competitive, kind of the differences and similarities, but we are collaborating together to support each other's registries. MBC Connect is not a bioregistry, so we're not collecting any specimens.
Right.
So that's probably the biggest difference, but we have met with Nick and Corey on a number of occasions and are going to support each other.
I'm not as familiar with the breast cancer one as I am with the prostate cancer one, which is a lot younger.
Yeah.
And is doing pretty well. And I am, Ellie Van Allen's on our advisory board. But my thought was that since it's complementary, and you can make available to all those folks who are on that MBC Project registry access to trial information and everything else. I mean, I don't see why the project wouldn't push this out and ask people to sign up for this too, this as well, and that would be a huge boost, because I forget how many people they have. I think it's well over 4,000. It may be more than that.
Yeah, no, I that's a great idea. We one of the questions that we ask in the MBC Connect is, are you currently or have you registered for any other registries, so we can see, who's part of MBC Project, who's part of the Dr. Susan Love Collateral Damage. So we could send out an insight to everybody that's not on MBC Project and help promote their effort as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's some real crossover. There's some real crossover there to the same community, to the same population.
Yeah, there is. Hey, listen, Ron, I wanted to let you know I looked up and it's 2%. So of the current 400 registrants on NBC Connect, 2% are men.
Oh,
Okay.
good. So we at least have a voice. That's awesome. But hopefully we can bring that up a lot by getting it out to our men and showing them what they have to
challenge
do.
you all. I'd love to see that be a much bigger number.
And it will, because again, we'll start sharing this call on social media, which is going to enlighten so many of the men what this app's all about, especially our metastatic community. It's
Yeah.
just huge.
We
We
could
couldn't
probably
do
come
better.
up with some social media stuff that would maybe be customized for a bit for the men that, again, might get them to take more interest and participate.
Well, and exactly. So that's why I say, if you'll send me like a short paragraph that tells about the NBC Connect, we'll put that as our social media and then add this video onto it through our YouTube channel. We'll upload it to and this will be just the MBCC Brothers secret page where all of our guys are invited to, because none of us know when a brother goes into stage 4 unless they tell us. And so it could be hitting a lot of the men. We've got about 81 members on that secret page already. So it'll hit a lot of the community that way.
Great. Well,
I
hopefully.
just wanted to say hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Bob.
Hi,
Bob
Bob
DeVito.
DeVito.
Excellent.
I don't-
All right.
Can you see me, or do you see the dashboard?
I
I'm in the
don't
car.
see anything.
I don't see you yet. Nuh-uh.
All right, hang on a minute.
All right, Bob's just getting on. Bob is normally our meeting starter and everything, but him going through all of his hip replacement and all that, he's been on hiatus, but he's back. There he is.
There I am.
He's in the car.
There I am.
God
I'm in the
bless you,
car.
Bob.
Hello.
Yeah,
If the
and
car gets
Ron's
too
there.
noisy, let me know. I'll
Yeah,
mute it.
and from Connecticut, and we're going to get Bob and Ron will be able to hopefully meet in Orlando. And again,
Yeah, we'll be there.
you're going to be there. We're going to all be there. And we got to keep promoting it out to get all of our brothers there. It's going to be fantastic. And Lori, we would love to have somebody from NBC Connect.
Yeah, I will definitely see who's available.
That would be amazing. Just
How
totally.
many people are you expecting there, Peggy?
At this point, I think we're in the range of 75 to 100 people at least, and it is growing every single day because we're reaching out to the Camp Lejeune community in Florida, which is a lot of the men from Camp Lejeune that came down with breast cancer. And Mike Partain, he's one of our 12-year survivors. He was born at Camp Lejeune, and he says that community, even though they were Marines or they were, kids from the Marine base, a lot of them don't talk about it, but he says with a conference like this coming to Orlando, he thinks he can get a lot more of them there. And so that's our hopes. And so it's going to grow fast. And again, grow very quickly towards getting closer to it, which we're over under a month left. So people are signing up like crazy. And it'll happen. It'll definitely happen.
Let us know how we can help.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'll get with you. We'll get a speaker. By the end of this week, guys, and it's just we've been firming up all the speakers, and we have a long list of speakers. Just to give you guys a quick little sneak idea, we have representation from Vanderbilt, Dr. Ben Park, Myriad, Andrew Alfonso, will be talking about genetic testing. We have Mylan Inc. from Houston, Leonard Goff, Jack Bradley, Dr. Minyas, I'll call him. He's the breast advocate. He's coming to talk. Dr. Robert Bard from Bard Diagnostic in New York, a very, very well known in the New York and New Jersey area. And he is the developer of 4D sonograms, where
4D.
Yeah, they can see through blood the different cancers. It's amazing. He'll be talking. And Dr. Pablo Leon from Dana-Farber, Dr. Jesse Stoff from Awareness for a Cure in New York, and Dr. Lopa Desroy, who is the founder of the Breast Cancer Hub, she travels all over India to bring them in together. And we have Dr. Charlie Ferrer from Cancer Tamer in Long Island. They're all coming to be part of this. Plus, we will have Sam Rivera, who is our longest living 46-year survivor who's out of Miami. He's going to talk about
Wow.
how long he was since age 17 joining the Army, and it was the Army that found his breast cancer. And then Mike Partain with Camp Lejeune, and he's a 12-year survivor. And then Pat Washburn. She's on the call. I don't know if Pat can hear us because I don't think she's got the audio. But Pat lost her husband, Marlon. She drives around the car that men have breast too. So we have, and then that is just the beginning of everything that's going to be happening. And it continues to build and get bigger and bigger right now. So, and we'll be doing a lot of it on Facebook Live for any of our guys that can't attend. But it would be so amazing to be able to meet everybody. It's just a moment. As Sherry can attest, Bob can attest because he's been at most of them.
Yep.
It's amazing to be able to meet other survivors and know, everybody's got their story and they're all different, but also in the same sense. We're family, guys. It's all alike, and how it's affected our families and how it's changed our lives. But guess what? There's Miss Pat Washburn right there. She just joined us. Hi, good girl.
Finally figured out how.
Hi, Pat.
Yeah, she got it. And God bless her for paying the ultimate price, losing her husband within 5 months of diagnosis, and she's going to talk about this, to go paint his car with Men Have Breast Too and drives it all over the country.
I love it.
Tell him a little bit about what you and Blake just got back from your grandson.
So I've got 22 grandchildren, and I offered my grandkids to take them any place in the contiguous United States. But I had to look it up on a paper road atlas, and we had to drive Grandma's car. And, so last year I took 4 of them out, and Blake was my first one for this year. We went down to Florida, and Blake was really impressed with the number of people that we ended up talking to. We would be in a restaurant, would be at a gas station. I talked to a lot of people in gas stations. Anybody, if somebody looked at me crosswise, I stopped and talked to them.
Yes, Pat does. We love her for that. She doesn't stop telling and preaching the word, and God bless her for all she does.
Amen.
It really, truly is, because she doesn't want, Marlon, her husband, was an educator for how many years?
41 years.
41 years.
Wow.
Principal, he just, in the school district, she's carrying on his legacy by preaching the gospel about male breast cancer. And it's amazing.
Ever have to go through what Marlon did. And I don't want any other family to have to go through what kids and I did. So this is what I'm doing.
Yes. And it's amazing. Truly amazing. So we will be getting much more up on the site, hopefully by the weekend. I've said this the last 2 weekends, with all of our speakers. If you haven't booked your hotel rooms, definitely get them booked. Bob, you're covered on Zio and stuff. Yep. And yep. Ron, yep. You're right there, right, Ron? Or you'll stay in.
No, I'm a couple hours away, but I have my room reserved.
Perfect. And that's going to give everybody a chance. Right now on the Friday evening, as everybody arrives, we're planning to have like a pizza, chicken wing, beer, and wine event. And then on the Saturday, we'll be doing a brunch with all of our speakers from 11 to 4. And then at 7 o'clock at the Marriott Gaylord Resort, we'll be having our dinner with more speakers. We have sponsors of Pfizer, Myriad, the Mylan. We have Advent Health, Carolwood, with Paul Dombrowski, a breast cancer survivor, but a retired NFL player. He played for 6 years, and Kansas City Chiefs was one of his team. Tampa Bay was another team, and Paul's going to be there to talk. And just for everybody to be able to meet more of our survivors, each of us, and the ones in the Florida area and the Midwest and whatever that are able to come, it's going to be an amazing 2 days, 3 days, whatever we can.
It will.
So talk it up to anyone, any brothers you know, because it is so important to get you guys together. None of us are promised tomorrow, not one of us. But let's just make good use of the time we all have on this. and help others. And that's what we do. That's what our family's about.
Agreed.
So thank you, Rick. And anybody else want to bring up stuff? Go ahead, there, Rick.
Pat, I just want to tell you that I'm working with who does something similar to what you do, but he does it for mental health advocacy and suicide prevention.
Oh, amazing.
And his name is Gabe Nathan. You can look him up on the internet. And he has a replica of Herbie the Love Bug.
Oh my God.
It's painted the same color. It's got the same transfers all around it. And he drives around and he goes to VA centers and what have you, all in the hope of trying to prevent suicide and promote mental health. So check it. Look up Gabe Nathan, Herbie the Love Bug. He's got a couple of great videos. It may give you some ideas. I don't know.
I will do that. That's, speaking of veterans hospitals and a lot of people tell me that I need to go and start talking to some of the doctors at the Veterans Hospital.
Yes.
Has anybody else done that yet?
I was thinking of doing that, of starting that down here, going to a lot of the doctor's offices and telling them that they need to check them breasts.
Yes. Bob Trafter, he's deceased now, but God bless him, he would do that. He was going to the VA, he was talking to doctors and all that, and he just says, Peggy, you got to promise we're going to keep that going. Yes, we need to continue to get
I think
our survivors, our thrivers out to the VAs and talk to these men, because a lot of their cancers have come by way of contamination of their service at times. And most of them don't even know. Yeah.
One of the last
Ron,
I'm sorry. One of the last people I talked to the other night, or the other day on our trip, was in Columbia, Missouri, and he is a pastor of sorts. I don't know for sure what kind, but he works with homeless people. And he, that the homeless needs and the homeless people. He said, this is something we really need to get out to them. Every once in a while, I come across a group of people that I just haven't thought about that we need to really hone in on.
Very much so.
Yep.
The homeless people would be another one. Peggy, he said he was from Kansas City. He did ask me to come down and talk to his church sometime. I said, I'd love to. Brett would be another good one. So
absolutely.
I will hear back from him or not, but
every little bit helps. That's what I say. And the knowledge of it. So
yeah.
Right.
And Ron, what we can do and what we do for a lot of our guys is, you're down there in Florida, we'll just add your story and your face to one of our Florida brochures and print them off and send them out to you. And this way you'll have something, it's real. All real.
Yeah, that would be great. And
excellent.
I'd like to see a syllabus if anybody's giving a talk like Pat is, or one of the survivors. Maybe I could get they could send me a sheet of what they talked about.
I'll share you some of them they're on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
I'll let you see. You'll get to watch them. I'll shoot you the YouTube channel. We've got over 300 videos up there. Just spin through them and watch some of it, because it will blow your mind what our family is out there doing. And it's just wonderful.
Okay.
It's what we ask of all of you guys to share. So go ahead, Rick.
What was the car that you showed?
That's Pat's car. That's what I was trying to show.
Let's see it again. Come on, let's
Did it get up there? Okay, let me does that show it? There. Can you see it?
Yeah.
And then I don't have the front. The front of the hood has Marlon's picture. It's amazing.
Oh, you have to have it.
I know I gotta have it somewhere. I was trying to get Pat. You've got it somewhere. Show it to me.
I'm gonna go out and show you my car.
Good girl. She
look
will.
at her.
She's gonna show you the real life. And she drives it. God bless this woman. She drives it everywhere.
I missed that car on Palm Coast, so I hope Orlando.
Yeah, she's gonna show you the car in real life. We're gonna get an actual picture of it.
Okay.
And it is so amazing, and how for her to honor Marlon, it's amazing. And God bless this woman. She literally drives it everywhere. And the training she's giving to her grandkids. Look at the generations this is going to go on to of what we're starting when we're all gone, you know?
Oh, and this has been fun.
Okay.
Yep.
There's
There you
Marlon.
go.
There it is.
Believe that in honor of Marlon.
Yep.
Very nice.
Just
And I don't
absolutely
know if
amazing.
I don't know if there's enough room here to see the side of my car.
Yes, it's beautiful.
I can't even see what I'm
Yeah,
looking at,
nice.
guys. Oh, okay.
Yeah, male breast cancer. Yeah, see?
Yes, she
Yeah.
got us. She's got it
Fantastic.
all over.
Great
And I
job.
don't
Very
have
nice.
the side of it.
Yeah.
And that's how Sherry and I found her. She was on a news cast in Omaha, Nebraska. It came across Google Alerts. And God help Pat, we've sucked her in big time. I
It didn't
remember
take
the
too much
call.
convincing, did it?
No,
You didn't
we
have
are.
to work too hard to convince
She
me.
didn't. She was right on. She was, I mean, Pat and I get our best phone calls in at 1 and 2 in the morning. And we just
yes,
talk.
we do. So this is the back of my car.
Oh, look at that. See?
Wow.
Yep.
It's great, Pat. Great
Yeah.
job.
And all
Love
the
it.
truck drivers that she's getting to, and they're honking at her and stuff, is amazing. For all the trips she's done. Oh my God, she's just gone everywhere. And it's just the beginning of her travels. So
Yeah.
Well, we're all going to
Yeah.
get to take a picture with that
Yeah.
car in Florida.
car's coming to Florida. It's going to be in our
Yes,
big
right.
tops
Excited
off
for
too.
that. I'm
Yeah.
very excited for that.
I think you should
It's on
keep
the
a
trunk.
journal and write a book about this.
Yeah, oh, I agree. I totally agree. But she'll
that
be
be
there with
cool?
the car, and we're going to do our tops off
Oh,
photo
absolutely.
with you guys with your shirts off, right with the car. It's going to be an amazing photo.
Oh,
To
yeah.
bring it all together. So the more of the guys we can get there, the better.
Oh,
Because it'll
that
show
would
the
be
force in
awesome.
our numbers. It really, truly will. So we've got to keep pressing it out and sharing it out, get it out of just the coalition network and get it out to family and friends. God knows how many other men we'll find just by getting it out in more Facebook and Twitter networks, and they pick up on it. And one that I got another wife reaching out for her husband just last night at 1 in the morning, and I actually she wanted to finally talk, and she was in tears, and I said, hey, you got a lot of family out here. I know you're scared to death like all of us have been, but just know you're not alone, and he will get great care. And we've got doctors that are on board now that we even look at the medical history of our men. And what more could we ask for to know that we have this family out here now, that we can get answers? And
Right.
it's not going to always be the correct answers, but guess what? You don't feel so damn alone when this
Well,
happens.
and I found that that's the most important thing. Just let people know they're not alone. They've
That's
got
right.
somebody else to talk to.
That's right.
Yep.
And okay, guess what, men? You're
Right.
not a freak because you got breast cancer. Guess what? You got damn boobs. You can get this damn disease.
Exactly.
And we have proof with
Yep.
Eli, our orangutan, God bless him, at age 26, Salt Lake City Zoo. He died of male breast cancer, our orangutan.
Wow.
And he's part of our family
Wow.
in the spirit of heaven. But I've got him on our YouTube channel, Eli, our orangutan, because they didn't even know. They didn't even know an orangutan, and he died on the table because they found the breast cancer on him, and he didn't make it through the surgery. But God knows how long the poor orangutan had the breast cancer. This is part of it.
One of the
Right.
interesting
Right.
things that happened to me on my vacation with Blake, I had a lady come up to me at a truck stop, and she said, hey, you need to have a sign on your car that says, hard rockers get breast cancer too. And I said, oh, yeah, that's absolutely true. She said, did you know that Peter Criss had breast cancer?
Yeah.
And I said, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Peter Criss, the
Believe it-
original,
Believe it or not,
drummer with
he lives-
Kiss.
he
Yeah.
lives here in New Jersey, and I have reached out for him because I was looking. Unfortunately, we all know if you're not a movie star or somebody in that community, your
Yeah.
voice is a little less heard. And
Right.
I tried him, and his answer back to us was, I've done an awful lot with this disease, and I'm taking a break for now.
Yeah, his wife said he wanted to take a break, so that was cool, you know.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
just said, just know he's part of our family. We love
Sherry,
him.
how long ago was that? Can I ask?
Yeah.
Actually, probably 2 years ago.
Every bit
Okay.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Every bit of it. And
I've even sent letters directly to his house, but once I got him and he said that, it was kind of like, I get it, you know, I'm not.
yeah,
pushing.
exactly. But again, like Richard Roundtree, you know, our original Shaft, he's amazing. He was on Katie Kirk with Brett, and he still will help us out any way he can. He just always says, Peggy, you know, my schedule's hectic, thank God. And I said, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And he says, but you know, I'm part of the family, and I'll never let you guys go. And I said, we're not going to let you go either. So,
Awesome.
but when you do, but also to be able to have the show, This Is Us.
No.
No, a million little
Oh,
things.
yes.
I just watched
Yeah.
a million little things covering a male breast cancer entire story.
Yeah.
And they reached out to us, and they even flew Brett out there to be part of it. This is huge, guys.
Oh,
They
it
did
is.
get picked up for
It
next
is.
season, so God knows how they're going to
Absolutely.
continue to develop Gary's storyline, and
Exactly.
that's going to
Yeah.
help us propel even further.
Yes.
You
agree.
know,
Exactly.
I think if a bunch of us start reaching out to Gary, as far as you guys Survivor wise on Twitter and stuff, because he's on it. It's what's his real name? I'm having a brain fart. It's hell to get old.
Oh, I don't know.
Jerry and oh God, I can't think. But anyway, we reach out to him personally. Maybe we'll eventually get him on board to start showing the coalition. They get the story talking about how we exist and all, because I mean, just that one little.
We just need to send him a shirt, Peggy.
Why not? Okay, Sherry, you get on it to find size and an address, and you know I'll send it. I got 2 boxes going out today to other survivors, new ones. But yeah,
Oh my God. Wouldn't
we
that be awesome?
got to make that happen, guys. Because if we get a million little things start showing you guys in real life on PSAs, that could be amazing. That really truly puts the face to male breast cancer.
Very true.
Has there been any major league players that have gotten breast cancer that we know
Not baseball that I know, but again, Paul Dombrowski, who's going to talk, he's retired NFL. And so he is a big spokesperson for us to get it going. And he's willing to talk. For a long time, I talked to him 3 or 4 years ago, and he wasn't ready to share.
Yeah.
And now he's helping us get this conference together with his connections in Orlando. So that's what we need. And again, with you guys coming, we need to keep talking that up to some of these
agree.
guys that are part of it, because they could do so much more for us.
Right.
And that's wonderful. So this is a great call, even though we didn't have a lot of us on it.
Yeah,
It's great.
Peggy,
let
can
me
I
ask
just,
a question.
Yes.
go ahead, Ron,
All right.
and then I'll go.
Okay, I was just wondering, I know, Peggy, we talked about discounts to Disney or
Sherry,
Universal
did you get
Studios.
anything? Oh, I did.
I just wondered,
Yes, I talked to Homewood Suites. My brain's going. I have talked to Homewood Suites. Homewood Suites has got the connections for all of that, and they will get us some discounts. And they are also Jose Rivera, the new general manager there. I told him, I said, Jose, work some miracles. He's actually working on it to try to get us some passes. Now, will it happen? I don't know.
To the park.
Yeah, for the park. But I do know that he'll make sure we get our discounts. He's an amazing guy. He's already sent me his shirt sizes. He's part of the family, and he's the GM at the new Homewood Suites there at where we're staying.
Very good.
okay, my contact said that she didn't have as many contacts as she had hoped, but she did provide me with several phone numbers
Perfect.
if we need to call Disney or Universal. So I don't want to
send them to
step on
me.
anybody's toes.
Yeah, send them there. Or
Okay.
you get on
I'll send them-
the horn too as a survivor, and that usually pulls a lot of
All
weight
right.
too. I'll help in any way.
All right.
You know that. We'll work on this together, Bob. You and me will
All right.
make it. That's excellent.
All
Awesome.
right, sounds
Yeah,
good. I'll
because
touch with you
Mickey
offline on that.
all you guys personally anyway. He told me that in a dream, Mickey Mouse. So
There you go.
If anybody want to know Gary's real name is James Roday.
James Roday. I knew.
Oh.
I knew it was a J. but James
I didn't know
Roday.
that.
So we should really go after him and start tweeting him personally and all that. And I think we could get him going on our bandwagon. He's a heck of an actor, and the storyline so far is amazing. So we
You
just want
said
to
it is
continue.
picked up for next year.
Yeah, it was picked up for next year, so
Good.
we're in good shape. We're in
Good.
good shape there.
We
I've
have,
had a lot of people ask me about it.
Yeah, and we need more shows talking about it. I mean,
Do we-
that's not just
I
that.
agree.
You know,
Sure. One of the bartenders on Vanderpump Rules a couple of years ago
yes.
had brought up the fact that he had a lump, and men can't get breast cancer, can they? And I'm not a follower of the show, but at least it was brought up.
Yeah, it was one time brought up, and Roseanne one time brought it up. It was, they were going to.
Oh, right. I forgot about
Remember
that.
the Connors?
Yep.
It was just one show. We need to get them to bring the
Yep.
storyline like a million little things.
Right.
And
Yep.
as they continue to reach out, because the way they reached out in an email from the coalition to say we would like to interview Brett, mainly because of his age and the youth, and would he be available? And I just said, well, yeah, he could do a Skype, whatever. We're always available. He's not going to stop preaching. And then within a week, the head producer gets back and says, we're flying him out here. Will he do a PSA for us? And I said, he will do anything, but no, we don't have a dime to our name. And he works 3 jobs. So as long as you can get him there, he'll do it. And they flew him out the morning. He came back that night, and he filmed with them for hours. So it was amazing.
That's awesome.
Wow, great.
yeah,
You know?
that was one of the questions I was thinking of asking is there anybody have any contacts with any of the networks or something to get
Yes.
some to do a national PSA?
Ron, you're on that. Let's do it. I'll help. We'll help anyway, but that is a brilliant idea to keep
Well, we could
going
always
with.
talk to Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yep.
true.
Jimmy Kimmel. Yep.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So let's.
Well, you know what, guys? If we get a PSA together, I've got the connections with ABC and MBC here, the New York affiliates. Peggy's, you've got.
For Sherry, we're gonna film you guys in Florida, the ones that come.
Yeah.
And last night, another lady, Allie, who now has agreed, she does museum work. She does forms and whatever they call, I can't think of, but photos. She does her photo. She's going to take her photo now, Sherry, and she's very well known, she says. So she's sending me all of her details. I haven't gotten it yet. She's been swamped, but she's on board. She's going to be in Orlando purposely on Saturday, and she'll take our main photo with the car and all that. But she's also, the University of West Virginia is doing a special thing on breast cancer, and they do want to feature a bust of one of our men. So I said, come to Florida, you can meet the men, you can take photos of them, we're going to do it as a tops off, and you can talk to them right then and there if they want to be featured. It's up to them. And so she's coming.
She's not part of the Bodice Project, is she?
Yeah, she mentioned that. Yes, Sherry.
I spoke
And again,
to her
she was
quite a
the
few
one.
times.
She was the one going back and forth on the coalition, and then she finally says, "Can you talk tonight? I can't wait." I said, "Yeah, I'm up late." So her and I got on the phone at midnight, and we talked. And so she's putting together her email here, and she just emailed me back. She goes, "I haven't had a chance to get the email, but I'm coming. But no, we're family, and I'll be there." And I said, "That's all right, Allie. You're in. And we need you as much as you need us, because she needs to find more men to make this project huge." And it's the showing will be in New York, New Jersey in October, and also Florida, she said. And it's all in the development stages right now, but she is so excited to get men involved in it. They've got the women already lined up. And so that definitely works. So yeah, there's
Peggy,
a lot of stuff coming. Go ahead, Rick.
Peggy, can I just mention something? I attended a memorial seminar for a friend of mine who died 10 years ago on Monday. And they always have fairly well-known speakers in the field of sort of what they call it medicine and humanitarianism. And the person they had on Monday is a woman called Danielle Offrey. She's an internist and a doc at Bellevue Hospital. And she writes for the New York Times. And what she was talking about was her new book, which is called What Patients Say, What Doctors Hear. And I've put it in the chat window. I put a link to it in the chat window. But the theme is that doctors and patients don't communicate very well.
Very true.
As we know. And as an example, she mentioned that the studies being done that show that a doctor only listens to the patient for the first 9 seconds of the time that they are in. And then they start talking and they go down all kinds of lines that they don't need to go down. And they make assumptions. And so she said she started an experiment and she started timing herself when the patients came in, and she just allowed them to talk. And she said most of them talked for about 30 to 45 seconds. She said there was somebody who sounded like they talked for the whole of the session, but they actually only talked for 4 minutes. But she, said it's money in the bank, because once a patient knows they can talk to you, when they come back, they're not so pressured. And it was very interesting. But this whole issue of communication, so I thought I'd just mention that to you.
Oh, wow.
What patients say.
I love it. I love that. And Rick has agreed to be on a GoToMeeting live at our conference, so he can show you guys how we get on and off the calls. And God bless them for giving us this platform. It was asked in Kansas City 2 years ago by the guys themselves that attended, is there any way we can get on once a month to talk to each other? And I go, we'll try it. And it was through Linda Holden, who found Rick, sent it to us. We connect with Rick, and the rest is history. God bless this man and Aunt Kate.
Awesome.
Because we couldn't do this on our own. And again, like I said, we may not have a buck to our name, but guess what? We have so much heart, so many amazing families that have been touched by this horrible disease. And if we can get the knowledge out there and the different stuff that can do with apps and everything else to find clinical trials. I mean, again, I remember when Brett was diagnosed, the only thing that was there on the internet when you Googled male breast cancer was a Marine saluting with his shirt off from Camp Lejeune. I talked to that man a year ago. And again, with his PTSD and stuff, he says, I want to forget that I've ever had male breast cancer. And I said, that's all right. We get that. We don't force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. But if you want to get involved, we're here. We all want to make a difference. And there's going to be us on this call that do want to make a difference, because we took time out of our busy lives to make a difference. And that's what this whole community is about. But I do find the minute I get one of the guys talking, hell, I'll get text, I get everything else. The one guy just texted me, is my shirt on the way? I saw your UPS come through. I said, yes, I'm going to get it to UPS tonight. Well, hell, I'm going to miss it now. But it'll get there first thing in the morning, because they're excited about getting their shirts, their recovery shirts. God bless